Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading for the week of April 21st. You have this balance and freedom card. Yeah, you probably do need to balance like work in freedom or like work in fun and all that other good stuff, or work in your life just in general. I kind of feel that Virgos will be feeling more like busy as we move throughout the summer, but again, this would be a good thing for you to prepare for now, Virgo, right? Like, don't wait until the summer to burn out and then be too tired to do anything. And so I would make sure you're like balancing out your energy. And here you go. You have the Two of Pentacles, work hard, play hard. So I would say it's definitely true. I think that, I felt it. That's why I said that at the beginning of the reading, because, I feel for Virgos that they will be working very hard, as we get into the summer. Starting now, it's like probably going to increase as we move through the summer is what I'm trying to say. But probably for good reasons. It's like you are wanting to be, because things are working. That's probably why you're wanting to work hard, right? And so it's not like bad hard work. I think it's good. But I would just make sure that you are kind of like balancing things out. You start here in your current general energies with the Hierophant. It's like popping into my head as like certain things that you want. I'm getting a very random message on the Hierophant right now. It's kind of like saying that he can represent blessings. Like, he is blessing these people in front of him. But the way that I'm seeing it for you, Virgo, is that there are certain blessings. Like, there are certain things that you say to yourself, like, oh, this would be a blessing if I had this thing in my life. And so it's almost like you're kind of like imagining some blessings that you desire. And I feel like that could be what you are trying to work towards, is, creating these blessings, or, creating something that would be a blessing in your life. And you have the Eight of Pentacles also coming up in your reading. Eight of Pentacles is very straightforward, diligent work. He's working on one thing. He's making one thing happen. So a lot of you could really be putting the work in to make things happen with this card. You have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is holding on too tightly to the past and, needing to let go of something. It could also represent needing to leave a comfort zone, which is kind of what I feel for you, Virgo, is that there could be a little bit of a comfort zone that you need to let go of. And it could be, anything, really. It could be a belief system. It could be you trying to protect yourself. It could be you just like staying at a job that isn't paying you enough money. You're all different, so it's going to be different for all of you. But I would definitely look at it. Now, I'm not too worried about it because you have that Eight of Pentacles coming up. The Eight of Pentacles really tells me, and even if we look here, we have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords has her back to the past, and she has her hand up, and she's willing to receive whatever this is. So I really am not worried about it at all. I think that a lot of you are like opening up to the work that you're going to be doing with that Eight of Pentacles. And, clearly Eight of Pentacles is material success on the horizon. So this is clearly like a result that you're getting. Next, you have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is a card of contemplation and apathy. He's not accepting this new cup into his life because he's been disappointed at least 3 times before. I always say with the Four of Cups that he needs to realize that each one of these cups has taught him a lesson. It's basically given him the ingredients of success. He just needs to mix all those ingredients together, pop it in the oven, and he will be successful. So I feel that there could be a lot of success coming in for you here if you like mix these ingredients together. The other thing is that we have the Ace of Cups and the Lovers. So for, this isn't really a love reading. 3 cards like this isn't enough. Really technically 2 here. But if you do want love, this could be a new connection coming in for you. Some of you already could have a connection. You could be dating another Earth sign. Both Taurus and Capricorn show up in this reading. So if you're looking for love, or if you already have love, it could be an Earth sign. But let's see here. That did not work at all. So let's try that again, Virgo. And let's see. With the Taurus card, the Hierophant, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles, like very slow, plodding energy, just like a Taurus, right? So some of you Virgos could be dealing with a Taurus here. This could also be financial, and I do feel like this is a very good financial reading for you here, Virgo, because it just seems to me like you're focusing on work, you're focusing on your finances. The Knight of Pentacles kind of says, you know what you need to do, you just haven't gotten started. He's the only knight in the tarot that hasn't made a move. But I feel, I really don't like the Knight of Pentacles because he's not doing anything. But, again, I feel pretty good about him for you. Like, I feel maybe you haven't been taking action, but you're about to. And, he does say that you will make progress. So I do feel there is progress coming in here. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Wands. Really, this is like the last many years of your life, Virgo. Like, I feel a lot of Virgos have felt certain burdens or certain challenges that have created a lot of heavy weight on their back in their life. And, this is just what you have gone through. You have gone through a period of time where you've had to release certain things. You've had to, and also you've probably had to carry certain things. Again, the Ten of Wands isn't only about releasing. It's some of those responsibilities he does need, and some of those responsibilities he doesn't need, right? So it's really about, we will always have to carry some burdens in life, but, it's about carrying the good ones, or the ones that you're meant to carry and not everybody else's, right? And so this has been a long-term thing for you, Virgo, I feel. With the Four of Cups, you have two cards. You have the Six of Pentacles and the Judgment card. So the Six of Pentacles is about getting started. I always say Six of Pentacles, he is kind of planting seeds in a direction. He's getting started on work. And, the Six of Pentacles is about paying attention to what works. The Judgment card could be you waking up to an opportunity, because we go up to the Queen of Swords. It's, it's almost like you are finally seeing an opportunity to work on something that will work. That's kind of what's popping into my head there. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you here, Virgo, you have the Justice and Documents card. You have this Control and Change card. So you could be getting justice based off of something that happened to you in the past. That definitely could be true. When you think about it, the North Node is in Pisces. South Node is in your sign, Virgo. But the North Node in Pisces there's something about it. The nodes kind of are like karma, in some way. And, but there's something about the North Node being in Pisces that could have to do with you getting karma, could be positive or negative. But, in this situation, it kind of looks like justice. So in a lot of ways, I do feel like you could be getting justice. I also do feel that there are changes coming in. I think the change is you setting yourself free. We have the Ten of Wands, Four of Pentacles, Eight of Swords. These are very stuck cards. But, all of a sudden, you have the Queen of Swords looking at the Eight of Pentacles. It's all of a sudden, you know what to do. All of a sudden, you know what your next step should be. So really, I feel it could be freedom. You have the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. Queen of Pentacles is a card of resourcefulness and using your resources wisely. Pretty much everybody needs to do this right now. I mean, I've literally been talking about this since 2016, that money is changing, right? It's so, and this is very Neptune and Pisces. Neptune is in Aries right now, but it will retrograde back into Pisces. Plus, on top of that, when a major planet especially, is going through a sign, we are learning the lessons. When it leaves a sign, we implement those lessons. So on a global scale, money is changing. I've literally been talking about this for years. I've been warning people about it since 2016, and we're seeing it, with tariffs and all this other stuff. And I'm not making a comment on how I feel about it. I just think it's interesting, right? And it's interesting to see astrology play out in real life, is what I would say. But, instead of worrying about it, focus on what you can control with the Queen of Pentacles, right? And focus on building your own resources or creating resources. I think you are becoming more resourceful. We go Eight of Pentacles right here. We have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is coming up in the good stuff, which could say that you are putting up boundaries or with your finances. It could say that you're kind of creating a safety net, or you're doing something to improve in another way. You have the Queen of Swords. I love the Queen of Swords in your reading, if you can't tell. I feel this is kind of you all of a sudden understanding what to work on, or you understanding what is working in your life. So it just kind of seems like she is representing a sudden understanding in your reading, and that's pretty much all I feel for her. She is focused on that Eight of Pentacles. I feel like you could be focused on that Eight of Pentacles and creating something great in your life. You have the Eight of Swords. Again, not even worried about it because of the rest of the reading. I feel that you are finding new directions. If you are feeling stuck, though, the Eight of Swords says you might only be thinking of one way to do things when there are many. So, again, Eight of Swords has a very easy solution. All we have to do is open up to all possibilities, and then things will get easier, and that's what I would do with that card. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is like material success on the horizon. So a lot of you could be improving your earnings moving forward into the future. And, that's definitely something I would be focusing on. You have the Eight of Pentacles twice. And, whenever this to me, when this happens, when we have a card and then a duplicate card, it's basically like the universe is doubling down on that message. So again, a lot of you seem to be like putting things into place that are going to pay off in the future. I also feel Virgo already has put things into place in the past that they hoped would pay off in the future, and that could definitely be happening. It's like popping into my head that if you did a bunch of work for the hopes that it would, like, the investment of your time, effort, or energy would lead to something better, I think that's happening now as well. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Eight of Wands. Yes, quick movement. There is a lot of this, firework energy in the astrology. I'm not trying to be overly dramatic here, but it's like there has been a lot of this energy where it's like all of a sudden, people could be coming up with ideas and be like, I'll go do this with my life. And it could be like a sudden change, or it could happen very quickly. And again, I'm not trying to be dramatic here. It's just like, just is what it is. And really, when you think about it, if you have one of those changes, it probably hasn't been fast. It has probably taken like 20 years, right? But you're like finally making the decision. So it could be something that took a long time but happens fast, if that makes sense. And so don't be surprised if you make some sort of sudden change, not even just this week. I would say, between now and like the end of June, there could be a time frame to this, but like all of a sudden you could be making some sort of change. With the Eight of Swords, you have the High Priestess. Very intuitive time, so definitely trust those intuitive messages that you're receiving. Trust your inner voice, listen to your inner voice. All that is going to be good for you. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have the Crossroads and the Bouquet, and this is showing up in the Lenormand here for you, Virgo. The Crossroads and the Bouquet can represent making a decision based off of like enjoyment, or kind of like choosing something to get a reward is what this represents. In the Lenormand, Lenormand is like a little bit more strict than tarot. We read combinations, or if I were to do a whole spread with Lenormand, we would the rows would be more strict, if that makes sense. And so again, this would represent making a decision based off of like the hopes of a reward or pleasure or something like that. And it's kind of funny because you have the Two of Pentacles right here. And then you have the Lovers. So it's like you could be making a choice in love based off of pleasure or enjoyment or something else. And I do feel that this is going to be a positive thing. I feel like you're going to be very busy. Mark my words. By the time we get to June, I feel like you are like a busy little beaver here, Virgo. I think you're like building things, working on creative projects. You could be just like, making a lot of decisions or doing a lot more than you thought you would be doing. And the Two of Pentacles really says balance work and pleasure. You need to also be enjoying yourself. I would start now. I always tell people, like, I look at astrology as like a wave. Things are happening in the astrology, and it's like the wave starts way back here. But, if you pay before we have like a transit or something, right, the wave starts to build, but we can catch the wave early and we can ride it all the way forward. And so, that's why I would, even though I don't feel like this is something that you have to do right now, it's something that I would start practicing, right? I would come up with some sort of hobby or something you enjoy doing now, just so that you have it. And if you catch that wave early, I just feel it will be very beneficial. You have the Eight of Pentacles, which I love. I feel so much on this Eight of Pentacles. I feel like past, I feel like future. I feel like things that you worked on in the past could be paying off now. I feel like things you work on now could be paying off in the future. All that is just kind of rushing around in my head with the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. He's working on one thing. He's making one thing happen, and I feel that you staying focused on like what you are working on is going to be very beneficial for you as well with the Eight of Pentacles. So like stay focused. You have the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups could be your emotions overflowing, being very happy. So there could be a lot of happiness and joy coming in for you with the Ace of Cups. I also do feel that there could be love coming in for you if you don't already have it. I feel like some of you already have it. Like you could already be with your person, whether you realize it or not yet, Virgo. But again, for those of you that are single, you definitely could be attracting something really nice here. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Wheel of Fortune. There you go. Wheel of Fortune can represent a cycle completing. Work that you've done in the past coming back around. And that work could be increasing your fortunes. It does seem like a very lucky week. It's like the readings have been weird, if I'm being quite honest with you, because it's like on one hand, your reading is actually very good. It's not like some of the other people had bigger challenges, but it's almost like people could be feeling a pinch or a squeeze this week, and it's like that's the thing that could be changing fortunes. So it's kind of like a weird week in that sense, but you definitely could be changing your fortunes or increasing your fortunes or improving your fortunes with the Wheel of Fortune. I also feel that with that Two of Pentacles that you should be no back and forth energy, especially with this card. It's like we don't want the Wheel of Fortune to be a seesaw. We don't want it to like be going like this. We just want it to be spinning forwards, right? And there is, Eight of Pentacles, Ace of Wands also showing up here. These are cards of kind of like picking one thing and making it happen and staying focused on your decisions or your choices. And so I kind of get that energy with the with this Wheel of Fortune for some reason. Like it's saying, don't create a seesaw in your life. Don't create something that goes back and forth. Create something that only moves forward. And I feel that will be helpful. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Cups. There you go. Definitely could be a knight in shining armor coming in for you here. One thing I will say with the Eight of Pentacles is that Eight of Pentacles is a direct result, right? So like, let's say you're dating. You could be dating a couple of people, or maybe you've gone on a couple of dates. Eight of Pentacles says the right person produces a direct result, meaning if they say something, they do it, right? And not the other way around. So to me, I get a very direct energy off of this person. And so, again, if you're wondering, like, who is this person, I feel it'll be very obvious, and that's what I would pay attention to. Yep, with the Ace of Cups, you have the Lovers. Definitely, excuse me, definitely could be love coming in for you, obviously, and we have it twice. Whenever this happens, I feel like the universe is kind of like zooming in on the Lovers, if that makes sense. It's like giving us more detail on the situation, so we will definitely keep that in mind. The other thing is because you have the Choice card in the Lenormand, traditionally, or I should say the Crossroads card, which is about making a choice. Traditionally, the Lovers was a card of making a choice. It was called the Choice. And so, if you don't want love or if you already have love, some of you need to make the choice of your heart because you have that Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups, like if you're trying to choose between two things, Ace of Cups says which choice is going to make your emotions overflow, which choice is going to cause more flow, and that is the choice I would be making with the Lovers card, for sure, Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this card. It says luck is on your side. You also have this South Node card. It says don't let the past hold you back. The South Node is in your sign. So, definitely would be a time to make sure that your past is not holding you back at this time, Virgo. It seems like a very lucky reading. I mean, Eight of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, this would be quick forward movement. And so there could be a lot of luck coming in for you in a lot of, better directions. Now, the luck is on your side card. There's like that bow and arrow that is pointing towards one thing. Eight of Pentacles twice, Ace of Wands here as well. The Queen of Swords, she is very focused in one direction. So I think focus is going to be important as well. You have the Lovers. Again, the reading is zooming in on that Lovers card. So the Lovers could, of course, be love. Could be a choice that you're making. This is your higher self angel. And, if you're attracting love, this could be something that is very divinely guided in your life. I feel like I get this feeling that maybe love has been confusing for you for like many years, and you could finally be getting like the clarity on love, or you could be finally understanding what love is for you with this Lovers card. So I definitely get that feeling as well. You have the Ace of Wands. I feel like there's a lot of passion here. So if you are attracting love, there could be like a lot of passion coming in for you, or a lot of growth potential with a person. I definitely feel that with this card. The Ace of Wands is also kind of like a card of inspiration. And so if you are feeling inspired this week to move in like any direction, that's the direction I would move on. The other thing is you have the Nine of Wands. So the Ace of Wands is just a spark. And I always say it's my favorite card in the tarot, because I think sometimes that's all we need, is just like that spark of inspiration that makes us take action in a new direction, or, whatever. But we have to keep the fire building. A spark is only a spark. If we don't keep putting wood on that fire, it's not going to grow. The Nine of Wands is probably the wood that needs to be put on this fire. So I feel the Nine of Wands is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, right? And so sometimes I think all we have to do to get something to work is keep the momentum going, is to just keep working. And I feel that. The Nine of Wands, I also feel, is saying you need to keep experimenting and trying things, because like the more you experiment, the better it will get with the Nine of Wands. And again, if you're like working on something new, maybe you just need to try new things. The other thing is the Nine of Wands showing up in the good stuff could say that you are opening up in love. So for those of you that want love or want a connection, you could be opening up, and that could be what's attracting this person in. So let's see. With the Lovers, you have the Knight of Swords, like a person rushing in here. Now, I wouldn't rush necessarily, but, again, this is showing up in the good stuff. So this could be a connection that takes off very quickly. And, Knight of Cups, getting swept off your feet, right? And the Knight of Swords in the good stuff would be kind of getting swept off your feet. So it could be something that kind of rushes in and happens very quickly. There really is that, like, all of a sudden energy in your reading. Like I said, I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but it's like that Queen of Swords really gave me that feeling, and the Eight of Wands as well gave me that feeling that there's like just a quick change or a quick thing that is happening for you this week. So I don't know, looks good. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Yes, gratitude and luxuries. I would definitely feed more into gratitude this week. I would say for the rest of the summer, really. I mean, we are in a time of heightened manifestation. And, gratitude is one of the quickest ways to manifest the things that you want. And the Nine of Pentacles is all about gratitude and luxuries, right? And so I would practice gratitude. The other thing is that the Nine of Pentacles can represent a change in your environment. She has this snail right here, and snails wear their homes on their backs. So the snail kind of represents her environment. She is making sure that she's creating an environment of, love, joy, peace, happiness, success in her life. And so this could represent like doing some spring cleaning to clean up your environment, or doing something else to improve your environment. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Hermit. The Hermit, it can represent feeling left out in the cold. Or no, that's not what I wanted to say, but I said it. So sometimes I think those messages are intuitive. The Hermit is your card, of course, Virgo. The Hermit puts you in a position of power and strength, showing up as yourself. But, it's like maybe you do feel left out in the cold. Like maybe you do need to step into the light. And maybe you need to get more attention, right? He needs to shine that inner light. He has the star in his lantern here. But the star is trapped in that lantern. He's not like putting it out into the world. He's not shining it bright like he should. So I feel for a lot of you, this could be about, like really making sure to like shine that light bright out into the world, and make sure that people can see you and see how special you are, and, all that other stuff. But, for the most part, it is good that shows up in that area of the reading, because it kind of says that you could be getting more attention. You have this leg card. It says stepping into new experiences. I feel like you need to step into new experiences is what I would say. There's been this big theme all of 2024 and also continuing into 2025 that everybody needs variety right now. And that might not sound important, but again, I mean, that's part of the problem is like, I feel like people don't understand like how important having a variety of experiences in life is right now, because that's where we are going to get our inspirations, plain and simple. We need need to be inspired right now because Pluto in Aquarius for 20 years. The best thing you can do is not only be an inspiration, but be inspired. So go be inspired. Go do new things. Go try new hobbies. Go on dates. Meet new people. Do all that stuff because, again, I can't even explain it because I don't even know what could come in for you because of it, right? But I just know that we all need to be doing it. You have this broken bridge. It says unsuccessful outcome to a problem. Eight of Swords, right? You could be kind of like feeling stuck because of this, but I don't know. I'm not too worried about it based off this reading. You have this wall card. It says misunderstandings. Yeah, we still need to make sure that we are being clear right now. We're still in the Mercury retrograde shadow, so I would make sure that you're being clear with your communications and the things you're working on and the things that you're doing, and that's it. I would just make sure that you're being clear. You have this well card. It says family wishes come true. If you're trying to have a family, you definitely could be making that happen. If you are trying to find a person to have a family with, you could also be making that happen with this card. So I feel very good about that. You have this teapot. It says deep friendship with someone of the same sex. I think it's a great time for like friends and family and, spending time with people who really matter to you, Virgo, right now. So, if you're doing any of that, I feel really good about this. But this is a really good reading. I love this for you. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.